Welcome to Preps Insider, and it is time to look at Week 6 of the high school football season. I'm here with my resident experts on all things football, Jay Schwab, the Kane County Chronicle sports editor, and Kevin Drewley, the Kane County Chronicle sports reporter, one of many over there at the newspaper. Guys, Kevin, first things first, Batavia, Geneva. This is a game that we didn't have to wait quite as long for, as it's moved up in the schedule, generally a Week 9 game, but now an Upstate 8 battle in Week 6. What are some of the things that you expect to see in terms of the mindset going in for these two teams?
Well, the mindset still is definitely what it has been, whether it's Week 9 or whenever these teams meet. I guess that's kind of one of the things that happens when you're the new kids on the block in the conference, is you can't always get that scheduling quirk. Coach Gasperi, I guess he was talking more as athletic Director Gasperi said a little while ago that in coming years this will be Week 9 again. It'll be kind of on a rotation.
Good.
But in any event, it's Batavia and Geneva, and they're both feeling pretty good about it. I mean, really it seems that they're about as evenly matched as they've been in quite some time, really since the 06 season when Batavia won in the regular season, and again in the state semis. It's been Geneva's series, and I really see Batavia kind of not sneaking up on them, because I think Geneva knows what Batavia has as well, but I see this being a pretty good game and probably coming down to the wire. Neither team is all that huge up front, but they do have some experience and some size in the line play. They've got some playmakers you know about and some that you're hearing about anew. So I think this really has the potential to be a good game, whether it's Week 6 or not. So and then on top of that, you have the conference race and what that is with these teams. So I think it should be a good one. And Batavia, if they have a built-in advantage, it's at Bulldog Stadium for the second year in a row. So I know they're liking that. So.
Well, that'll definitely help. And Jay, we talked a little bit about how Geneva is a little smaller, not as physically imposing as in years past. How do these two teams match up in that regard? And also in terms of their offensive attack, is it going to be a situation where we're going to see a lot of points again on the board?
Well, yeah, Geneva's offensive line certainly is a little smaller than it's been previous years, but then again, you saw them Friday against St. Charles North run it 50 sometimes and have St. Charles North begging for mercy a little bit. So those offensive linemen for Geneva still are quite effective. Really, it's a rare high school game when you have two teams that are close to equally comfortable running and throwing the ball. Both Batavia and Geneva have shown at various times this year that they can do both. Both have a deep pool of players at the skill positions, backs and receivers. So that makes it not that the Batavia and Geneva coaches wouldn't be putting in a few extra hours this week preparing anyway, but there's really a lot to prepare for in terms of defensively looking at the other team's offense. So it'll be interesting to see how what each coach perceives the other team's weaknesses to be and how they go about attacking the other defense. Batavia has shown a little bit more vulnerability defensively with their pass defense. Bartlett exposed them a little bit a couple weeks ago, so I guess Geneva will see if there's anything they can pick off that film that they think, hey, we can do this a little bit too. And conversely, early in the year, Geneva's defense really struggled to stop the run, particularly that opening game against Rock Island. So Batavia's got Caba's coming on a little bit in the ground game, and then Alec Lyons is a big dude that when he gets ahead of steam going is real tough to bring down. So can't wait to see I guess what the game plan, what the thinking is for each team in terms of which their deep array of skills they want to try to accentuate in this matchup.
Oh, there's definitely going to be some surprises, certainly, because it's a game that's usually game 9, but they're going to have to empty the playbook, maybe even try some trick plays or something just to keep the other team's coaches guessing a little bit, since those two teams know each other so well. Now, Kevin, tell me about St. Charles North. It was a tough loss, obviously. They went for 2. They didn't get it last week against Geneva. Now they're staring at a 2-3 mark up against Elgin.
They're staring at that. You're right. They're also staring at a schedule that seems to bode pretty well. You got to win 3 out of 4, and that seems doable. They've got Elgin coming up this week. Then you've got Larkin, Batavia, and then East, and that would be certainly an interesting. Well, we know, I guess the storyline now is East could be playing potential spoiler in that Week 9 game, since they're not going for the playoffs themselves, but. North again. We talk it till we're blue like the North Stars in the face, but it's the defense. The offense is really showing to be one of the top attacks around this region, and the defense just they're making strides. You know, Coach Gould has said it's not showing up on the scoreboard, but they feel like they're pretty much right there, and they're just a little thing with execution away from doing some big things on defense. They're getting guys back healthy, but they're just hoping to really run into a good game and an opponent that they can match up with pretty well. Down the road, I know Larkin's kind of been lame duck some games and explosive others, but they've got a receiver, Trevor Whitehead, to think about. And East in a few weeks, we'll see what they have offensively, and certainly not overlooking Batavia in a couple weeks. And Larkin, I see them handling Larkin pretty well. Larkin's got some playmakers and some veteran returners, but I think North, even though they lost, they kind of felt confidence-wise and swagger-wise, they maybe turned a little bit of a corner there with Geneva. So I think they can make a run. You got to win 3 out of 4 though, and who knows what bites up and gets you. But at least as we're sitting here now, I think it's doable.
Well, that's good news for North fans. And another game that's just huge, that would probably be the marquee game of the week if it wasn't for Geneva Batavia, is Marmion. They're taking on Aurora Christian in another game of local interest.
Okay, cliche alert here. One of the cliches in football and in sports that you hear a lot is size versus speed, and that's absolutely the case in this game. Marmion will dwarf Aurora Christian along the lines and will enjoy a sizable advantage in girth at a lot of positions on the field. Tough to overcome, but Aurora Christian can really run. You'd expect that from, I guess, Mr. House of Speed, Don Beebe and his team. The Eagles can have a lot of guys at the skill positions, including his son Chad, who's coming on strong as a young player, who can burn pretty good. And I know that was one of the only concerns for Marmion going into the season, was they thought that maybe their team speed was a little bit behind where it's been the last couple of years. So Marmion has been really dynamite all season, and it seems like they're coming on even stronger these last couple of weeks. So certainly would be a pretty good upset if Aurora Christian could beat Marmion. But I know that Marmion's defense won't have it easy just keeping up with the Eagles, especially on their home turf over there. So.
Well, guys, you'll be here next week. We need analysis of these big games. Can I get an agreement? See you next week. All right. For Jay Schwab and Kevin Drewley, I'm Jim Leo. We'll be back again for another edition of Preps Insider. Take care.